Here I am. Excuse me a moment. Where's my other screen gone? There it is. This is where the action's going to be today, ladies and gentlemen. It's been a fantastic 24 hours. Well, if you love bother like me, it's been a fantastic 24 hours anyway. Let me just stick my headphones in. Tell you what a bunch of wankers we turned out to be, eh? Whinging bastards. First things first. Something that's always made me laugh in the last few years is our insistence that we're still like some sort of badass empire or something. Like, do you honestly think the President of the United States is individually thinking about British soldiers when they're asking him about NATO? It's completely ridiculous. Also, people who haven't been there don't know, but there was multiple stories when I was out in Afghanistan, multiple occasions that were sort of international news more than once, where all the US generals were complaining about NATO, specifically not us, but everybody else, for having all these daft rules where they're not allowed to leave the base or not allowed to go out at night. I think the Germans were paying the Taliban not to shoot them. Like, we're an embarrassment. NATO is an embarrassment. So Trumpy Bear's entitled to have a whinge. And he certainly, I guarantee, wasn't even... Well, obviously, first things first, he never once mentioned the UK. Because everyone in the world's not thinking about the UK 24/7. It's a little bit cringe how we always make everything all about us. Secondly, it's been staggering seeing career anti-military shitbags like Emily Thornberry gobbing off. The usual suspects have been all over social media gobbing off. It really is quite staggering to see. So we'll cover all that. And there's plenty of other things to talk about. Dame Nugie, what a fat knacker. Look at the state of her, absolute troglodyte. Look at her, this harpy here. Look at her eyes like a shithouse rat and a tash. I hate these people so much. I hate them. I hate them with the intensity of 1,000 suns. It does a disservice to the word hatred when you ask me about people like Emily Thornberry. Every single one of them is a self-serving shitbag. If you think the American president has said bad things about British veterans, he didn't mention Britain once. Wait till you see how the British government treats British veterans. It's unbelievable. This is what I'm talking about. It really is. If you think what Vance and Trump have said about British veterans, they didn't say about British veterans. If you think what they've said is bad, watch what British politicians do. Watch what they do. They are scum. Scum of the earth. The way they've treated British veterans for decades is disgraceful. But now they're rubbing their hands together with glee. Ooh, now we can give it Billy Big Licks because Donald Trump didn't individually name drop. What do they want him to do? Like when he's getting interviewed, it's gotcha interviews as well. Just individually name drop the UK every time they ask him about global foreign policy. Yeah, NATO's useless except for the UK. I don't want to upset anyone in the UK. NATO is useless. Yes, it is. These stories, in fact, shall we find some of them? If I just go on Google and type in, like, US general criticises allies paying the enemy, I bet I can find that. They were paying the Taliban. Oh, please don't have a go, lads. Yeah, there's one, look. In 2017 and 2018, top US commanders in Afghanistan, including General John Nicholson, criticised Russia for okay. So it's through... No. Paying the Taliban is what I'm looking for. Don't throw that shit at me. What about... It was ISAF allies, wasn't it? ISAF allies paying the Taliban. Regarding the potential diversion of international aid funds to the Taliban, weak oversight. Basically, everything we've done's a joke. Essentially, everything we've done's a joke. The way we've treated British veterans for decades is an embarrassment. And because the US president doesn't individually make sure he caveats every statement about NATO and ISAF with, except for the British, apparently it's not even a scandal. It's not even a scandal. It's fake. It's a fake. Look, here's one who's gobbing off about it. Look, Larry the cat. Look like the out communist who posts for apparently representing 10 Downing Street. Yeah, apparently all of a sudden the out communist who'd spit in your face if you told him you were a veteran 2 days ago. Now he's naming all the UK personnel, and we'll run with this for a week. This'll be the left-wing news for a week. I'm genuinely astounded at the brass neck on these lefty arseholes. Also, we need more women like Saskia. Yeah, we do. Also, why are all the right-wing birds fit? Have you noticed that? Look at her. She's well tidy, her. She's like an 8 out of 10, Saskia. Have you seen the clip of some of the absolute munters on the left? That's why they're all bitter and twisted and resentful. Because not only is their ideology nonsensical and irrational, all the birds are fat mingers, and all the boys are beta male sparrow-boned soy boys. No wonder they're bitter and twisted. Look, Paul Mason's even doing it. If you think Paul Mason is a friend of the soldier, you're having a laugh, aren't you? It's unbelievable. And yes, more importantly than any of that, yeah. What about Northern Ireland? This lot, Paul Mason and his chums, they're going to prosecute Iraq and Afghan veterans soon enough. I guarantee you that. Give it a few years. They'll be after you. Ooh, you shot the Taliban. How dare you? Now we're trying to suck the Taliban off. We've got to prosecute British soldiers who shot the Taliban. These are the people. Honestly, I mean, I'm going to do some reading. Do I need to say any more? Paul Mason's gobbing off about it. And the reason, if I have to make this point to anyone, because I'm sure there's not that many people reading or watching my channel who are completely brain dead. But the reason they go hard at Trump is because Trump can be associated to Farage. So they push this fake headline as if the left are the ones that are sticking up for veterans. Because it makes Farage look bad, and they're trying to tear down reform because they're terrified of reform. Look, Paul Mason, never forget these images, Farage. Yeah, he's Trump's mate, which is better than what we've got now, which is the enemy of the British people. I bet he did. I bet he was. Of course you get put on trial by the scum that lorded over us. Stu, thanks for the £2. Veterans on the streets, but now it's ridiculous. It's transparently obvious what they're doing. So yeah, cry more, lefty soy boys. As I've told you lot, right? I don't even need to do a deep dive on any of this stuff. I don't need to put too much effort in. All I need to look at, if I can't be bothered or I'm rushed for time, is to who's on the opposite side of it. And when someone like Paul Mason is pretending to be pro-veteran all of a sudden, these people spit in the faces of veterans. These people are detestable scum. Paul Mason would defend Jerry Adams and Martin McGuinness over a British veteran. But now he's got the bit between his teeth because the mainstream media is pushing another bollock story, and Paul Mason's on the side of the Angels, is he? I mean, you have to be completely brain dead. You have to be completely brain dead. Who else is opposing it? Let's have a look, because it's literally all they're going to talk about today. Breaking, Starmer's called on Donald Trump to apologise. He didn't insult British troops in Afghanistan. Insulting and appalling comments about British troops. When did he mention British troops? I guarantee he wasn't even thinking about British troops. This is a known thing. The NATO are shite. The Romanians and the Turks and everybody else, they didn't do anything. The Turks were helping the Taliban when I was in Afghanistan. True story. True story. Right? On my first tour of Afghanistan, we were in Kabul. We were doing force protection for all the shiny asses in Kabul. There's one company in Bootnecks doing force protection for everybody else in the international zone because they're all fannies, right? There was the Frogs, the Germans, the Turks, the Italians. There was 2 Irish dog handlers. Oh, yeah, they're pulling the weight. And when there was an IED went off, the SOP was when an IED goes off, contact comes over the radio and all service personnel out on the ground immediately go firm in the closest US allied base they can find. And we had a patrol right next to Camp Dogan, which was a Turkish base. And they went to get in per SOPs, and the Turks wouldn't let them in. The Turks closed the gates and sat there with the guns trained on them, and the blokes were like, aren't we meant to be on their side? And after I heard this, I put a scathing patrol report in for the INSUM that we sent to brigade. And I said, the Turks want to decide whose side they're on, because they're either tacitly endorsing the Taliban or fully supporting them. Needless to say, it ruffled a few feathers, and the intelligence officer scrubbed it from the in summary. But that's what happened in Afghanistan. So when Trump's getting wound up about it, it's because of shit like that. It's because it was a joke, and the Americans did all the heavy lifting. The British helped, but almost nobody else did. And there was loads of stories about it at the time, about the NATO allies doing no work in Afghanistan. So there you go. That's all it is. It's a nothing burger, to quote the Yanks. And again, if you don't want to really dig into it, just look at who's siding. Just look at who's trying to paint themselves as the good guys now. Paul Mason, are you having a fucking laugh? Keir Starmer. It's ridiculous. Look, Chris Rose. Oh, I'll agree with Keir Starmer. I don't care. I don't care what some African bloke has to say about it. Thanks. How many times did he go to Afghanistan? I'd love to. What's this? I love listening to Somalians talk. I love it. It's just because it's unintentional comic genius. They are absolutely brain dead. Let's listen to this one.
Somali. So I'm Somali. I'm proud to be Somali. To me, being Somali isn't just eating bananas with rice. It's a lot. It's like it's an interesting thing. It's very hard to describe what it means to be Somali and what it means to be American, but it's like a cultural fusion. It's kind of like the bananas and rice. You know, people don't really see, like, you know, it's you know, people don't think, oh, you can eat bananas with rice, but
that's amazing. I like the way how he's nodding, the guy in the background, and Fatty's just going, oh my God, this is cringe. If I was stood behind her, if I was one of the only Somalis in the room with an IQ over about 50, right? I'd just tap her on the shoulder and go, here. I'll take over now. You're right. When I did a best man speech for my mate, another one of our mates got up and started, he was very drunk, and he started telling jokes, and then they got ribald to the point of it being a bit cringe, and he started telling a story about when they were, we'll just say, throwing, what would you call it, human waste a bouncer off Linthorpe Road, and everybody started cringing, right? So I just jumped up and said, "All right, I'll step in now. We've heard enough stories about bodily functions. Thank very much." And we moved on quickly. I tried to mitigate that damage as much as I could by just putting a stop to it. If I was one of the tiny minority of people that aren't completely brain dead, stood behind her there, I would instantly rescue her from that situation and say, "Yeah, sorry, we've had a lot of questions. We've had a busy day. Would anybody else like to ask anything? Because I can't believe what I've just heard there." You can tell. You can tell she's definitely low IQ, can't you? I'm going to watch it again because I'll laugh my ass off there. Let's watch that again. This is amazing.
So I'm Somali. I'm proud.
She is fucking brain dead. Look at her there. There's a light on, but there's no one home. There's a fucking lift, but it doesn't go all the way to the top. This is amazing. Slurring a word like a proper monger. Absolutely vacant.
Proud to be Somali. To me, being Somali isn't just eating bananas with rice. It's a lot. It's like it's an interesting thing. It's very hard to describe what it means to be Somali and what it means to be American, but it's like a cultural fusion. It's kind of like the bananas and rice. You know, people don't really
look at the fat bloke. When she follows it up, oh, it's nothing like bananas and rice, and then slurs her words for 20 seconds and then goes, "You know what it's like? Bananas and rice." You can see the fat bloke go, "Oh, fuck me." Who've we let stand on the stage here? That is unbelievable. That's amazing. So I love that. There's a nice comical change in where we were headed there. IQ estimate 75. I think John Hawkins has been a little bit generous there. She's what a mong. Unbelievable. I'll tell you what, if I was going to call her a downy, I'd be like, I'll tell you what, I'd rather have a downy stand behind the microphone, but I feel like I'm doing a disservice to the humble downy. They at least have some admirable qualities. They're always happy. They're nice kids, aren't they? These brain dead, thieving, lying parasites. I would never slur a downy by comparing them to that. That's amazing. So I love that. Thanks for doing me a solid, love, and talking shit on the internet. That's absolutely amazing. Look at this one here. Perhaps you should consider the per capita casualty statistics. I don't need to. The fact of the matter is, the vast majority of the allies weren't worth a wank, and that's who the president was talking about. He didn't mention the UK or Canada. Or what? Who else? I mean, really, it was only the Anglospheres who really pitched in. The French did fuck all, let's be honest. So it's bollocks. It's hard to find a decent story now because every single thing on Google now, obviously, because it's, I mean, look, if type that in on Google, US general criticises NATO allies in Afghanistan. Clearly because on multiple occasions, US generals criticise the NATO allies in Afghanistan. And what does Google send you? Oh, CNN, far left, woke propaganda. Trump angers allies. The Hill, lefties. The Atlantic, screaming lefties. The Wall Street Journal, lefty arseholes. Casually denigrates NATO's war dead. You don't care though, do you? You don't care. So it's a fiction. And I'll tell you who else doesn't care. Fucking me. That's just the way of it. Valentina was good as well today. Did everybody see what Valentina was talking about? Oh God, look at that one. There's a good one as well, look. The fact there'll be billions of women who look like the one on the left and only a few million who look like the one on the right should radicalise you beyond measure. Can you imagine? It's a tragedy. As I've said loads of times, We'll save the panda. That's what I told Derek. We'll save the panda. We'll save some louse, some random little insect that doesn't do shit. But we won't preserve that. We won't preserve that wonderful creature there. So we're just going to let the cousin fuckers multiply until meatball head is the norm. Can you imagine? Viagra, get stocks in Viagra, because everyone's going to be needing to take it if we want to procreate by 2050. You know why? Because every single bird's going to look like that howling thing on the left. It's unbelievable. Everyone will be thumbing it in. You'll be thinking of Margaret. Remember on Austin Powers where he's doing Margaret Thatcher on a cold day? If I was going to have to fuck that, I'd be fantasising about Margaret Thatcher on a cold day. I'd be thumbing one into Fatty there going, Margaret Thatcher naked on a cold day. Margaret Thatcher naked on a cold day. Unbelievable. Absolute munter. That is, it looks like, remember them old Campbell's meatball adverts where they had like some anthropomorphized meatballs with a face on? That's what that looks like. Fucking meatball head. It's like a big, gigantic, spherical globule with a face. That's unbelievable. Catherine, thanks very much for the deep sea diver. No brain cells? No, definitely not. None of them. None of them. Nobody who's in charge has got any brain cells. But yeah, thank Christ I did all my shagging in the 90s and the noughties, because Sloth Sister's going to be a looker come 2060. That is unbelievable, that. It's enough to make you weep to think these wonderful, elegant white ladies are going to be going extinct by about 2060. Christ on a bike. There's another one, look. Shabsy's started gobbing off again. Shabana Mahmood, let's see what she's got to say. Oh, hang on. Sorry, said her name out loud. Shabana Mahmood.
Some of it was fun.
Let's see what she's got to say. Come on. I'm sure it's total bollocks.
At the most significant reforms to policing this country has seen in 200 years. Let me tell you why. Last year, the police made over 750,000 arrests, and that's around 30,000 more than the year before. The most violent crimes that terrorise communities, like murder and knife crime, are falling. But for most people, things feel very different. Across the country, there is an epidemic of everyday crime. And all too often, crimes like shoplifting, theft, and antisocial behaviour seem to have no consequence. But crime is also changing. Sophisticated criminal gangs are working across the country and beyond our borders, smuggling drugs and trafficking people into this country. Meanwhile, the online world has changed, making it easier than ever for sexual abusers and online fraudsters to operate. The world has changed, but policing hasn't kept pace. Next week, I will set out a whole new model for policing in this country, delivering neighbourhood policing that protects your community while bearing down on national crime to protect us all.
Right, so that was just a party political broadcast. They started off with lies about, oh yeah, murders are going down, the most definitely falling. And then they get to like, oh, but you know, we're going to sort out ID theft. Well, I'll tell you something, right? When 250,000 little white girls were routinely getting diddled by foreign men, tortured, diddled, and occasionally murdered, right? You didn't care, did you? You purposely turned a blind eye to it. You told the police, don't do anything about it, because all the regulars at the snack bar vote Labour, so don't do anything about it. Just let them bum the little kids in the church car parks. Let them do it. And Keir Starmer sent out the famous circular telling the police not to do anything about it, and all the politicians in the Houses of Parliament, Labour and Conservative and Lib Dem and Greens and SNP combined, all of them let them do it because they all pander to the muzzy vote, right? But now Now the mega concerned about identity theft, you can suck my fucking stump shabs, is what you can do. That's unbelievable. There's nothing worse than the systematic, endemic torture and molestation of children, and you let it happen. All of you. So don't tell me about ID theft, you boss-eyed, manky-toothed cousin fucker. Don't tell me that. I don't care. I don't care what you've got to say on your party political broadcast. You helped kiddie fiddlers get away with it. And if there was any justice in the world, you and about 200 other MPs would be in jail for 25 years. You'd be sharing a cell with Abu Hamza. What we want to do is we want to keep Trumpy Bear on side so we can fucking have him send them all to Gitmo when we get a change of regime. That's what we want to be doing. It's unbelievable. They don't give a shit about little white girls. They don't give a shit about veterans. They don't give a shit about the white working classes. And they never have. And then they do 10 million column inches about Trump being clumsy with his words. Don't listen to what people say. Watch what they do. Watch what they do. And this lot prosecute veterans, side with the IRA over British soldiers, spit in your face, leave you homeless, mock. How much of they mock soldiers constantly? All they ever do. If you look at my interactions with the left on Twitter for the last 5 years, it's left-wing activists calling people like me thick. You're only going army because you're all thick. You want to be bootlickers, slaves to the system. You're all thick. Who cares? And then now they're going, oh, here's Paul Mason, outraged because Trump didn't individually name drop every British soldier that got killed in Afghanistan. Or here's Larry the Cat, reeling off the names. An out-communist activist. No. Well, I'm not only am I siding with Trumpy Bear, I'm going to personally write him a letter and suggest he builds Guantanamo 2.0 and beg him to stick about 250 British politicians and councillors in the fucking thing. And they can get away with it because being complicit in the endemic torture and abuse of children is highly illegal and should get you 25 years in jail. So that jock Cyclops, Gordon Brown, he should be in jail. Where is he?
Now, evidently, my cycloptic colleague informs me that that can't be done.
Lock him up. He was in on it. Starmer, Gordon Brown, Tony Blair, half the Tories, they all want locking up. It's highly illegal to people traffic, which is what they did. All these senior police officers, they all want locking up. I don't care. So I'm going to write Trumpy Bear a letter and I'm going to say, Dear Mr. President, please have a space in a rusty shipping container and several sets of electrodes to attach to the former disgraced Prime Minister's testicles when you're waterboarding him, because they want locking up. And that is fair enough as far as I'm concerned. Wankers go, oh, fascists want to lock up the political opponents. I don't want to lock them up for being my political opponents. I want to lock them up for trafficking little girls to foreign men because they thought it'd help them with their political careers. Who's the pervert, by the way? Who's the pervert who's just stepped aside in Manchester? Leaving up a space for Burnham. What's his name? Anyone remember? Andrew Gwynn, that's it. Let me just refresh ourselves with a scandal. Wasn't he another diddler? Trigger me timbers. Let's have a look. So, in February 2025, Andrew Gwynn, then a UK health minister, was dismissed and suspended because of his offensive messages. He had sent messages insulting his constituents, including a comment where he hoped a 72-year-old woman would die after she complained about bin collections. Yeah. So, he's just stepped down, and apparently Burnham might be able to take a run at it. But in order for him to do that, he'd have to step down as the mayor, wouldn't he? So I think he's probably going to bottle it as well. What's funny is, I don't think that's nowhere near as bad as the stuff. Everyone was talking about the offensive stuff. This is what I'm on about regarding prosecuting these maggots. That's nowhere near as offensive as what the likes of Starmer did. That's not as offensive. Taking the piss out of an old woman. I mean, it's pretty bad. But it's not as bad as telling the police, don't get involved. Listen, the Labour Party, we're really reliant on Puma tracky votes, lads. So don't get involved. But the rogering 10-year-olds. Yeah, but this is politics. Just like Emily Thornberry. We all want to do well. So just let them have the way with the 10-year-old girls. And then these are the people who now are going like, oh, it's fascism to persecute your political opponents. No, I want the law to be applied equally and without favour. So as far as I'm concerned, 25 year for Starmlin. 25 year. He sent the circular out, didn't he? That's what Nazir Afzal said. As far as I'm concerned, he wants the book thrown at him. Harriet Harman even did it. Did you see that? I mean, I saved that one because I was laughing my ass off. I couldn't believe Harriet Harman. I mean, come on. Here we are, look. Harriet, like, she's as pro-kiddie fiddler as you can possibly be outside of Gary Glitter's jail cell, all right? And even she's making hay with this. Harriet Harman. Oh, to all the bereaved families. Oh, I hope Trump's ignorance hasn't worsened your pain. Oh, really? Really? Like, if you're a bereaved family member and you've worked through this for years and you get on with your life, because that's what stoic English men and women up and down the country do when they go through loss. They suck it up and they get on with their lives. And you think Trump not individually giving them a name check while being interviewed by an American journalist is going to open up an old wound, do you? Really? Do you? Pro-pedo Harman. It's unbelievable. It's unbelievable. These people imported foreign predators by the million. Right? Lee Rigby's head would still be attached. Little Safi wouldn't have been scattered across the walls of the Manchester Evening News Arena. 7-7 would have never happened. London Bridge, Borough Market, groomed kids, Southport attacks, Emily Jones. None of it would have happened if the likes of Harriet Harman and Ed Miliband and Keir Starmer hadn't opened the borders and invited in millions of foreign predators. And they want you to get upset because Trumpy Bear is a little bit clumsy when he talks. If that works for you, fair play to you. If that works for you, hey, have at it. Have at it. But it doesn't work for me or anybody else with a fucking room temperature or above IQ. So just suck it up. Galloway Raider, have a drink on chat, Bootneck. You deserve it, bro. Rule Britannia. Thanks very much. I will. Honestly, I love it. I love them whinging. Stu, I'd love it if Trump liberated the UK. I would. I'd rather have him running the UK than Starmer. And that's why they're making hay with this shit. Harriet Harman. I can't believe she never crawled off, went under the bridge. Look at the state of the picture she's got on her thumb. Look at that. Look how many foreigners are in that picture. And they think this is a good thing. Hijabi. Foreign. And these people got your interests at heart, have they? You all seen what the snack bar community did about the endemic grooming and torture of children. They helped them do it. These women are the ones who drove the men round. When they catch a British diddler, He has to keep it under his hat. He has to hide it, doesn't he? Because if anyone of his friends or family or relatives find out about it, they'll turn him into police, or they might just hurt him, you know. This lot, they'd ring their entire extended family. The brother-in-law would go, hey, innit, as if's got a white lass above his kebab shop. Gives a lift round his house, and this lot would go, oh, okay, Mo, I'll give you a lift. They'd drive him and his 12 mates over. That's why, did you see Valentina's post today? It was amazing. Valentina's proper bass, right? I mean, I hope I can show it without getting banned. I won't read it out in full. There's Valentina's. The only reform needed in England is to deport every dirty regular at the snack bar. It's insane that England has one as the Home Secretary. Yeah, it is. It is. I love that though. This is like showing you what the public's real feeling is when the lying media's not pushing the propaganda right. This woman is the British Home Secretary. They want to talk to you about patriotism. £5.50 for a tuna sandwich today. Broken Britain. James, you should have kept that fiver. £5.50 for a... I feel guilty taking that off you. Yeah, you've sent me that. You'll have to live off noodle doodles and tapaline for the next 3 days. It is. Britain's ruined on purpose by these people. But look how good those numbers are, those ratios. She's the sitting Home Secretary for the UK, right? Which is currently going through this crisis. And she got 427 likes for promising to sort out the crime in the UK. She got 427 likes, and a foreign candidate who tweeted that pretty robustly worded tweet got 1.3 thousand likes, including one from the Bootneck. I love that. So 3 times as many likes. And this is not Americans liking that post, it's British people. So again, swings and roundabouts in it. 1 minute I was embarrassed at the weaponised grade A premium grade cringe of all these British people crying about a non-event. But then you see the sitting Home Secretary getting ratioed into oblivion and the foreign woman absolutely butchering her because she is a cousin fucker. Never forget that. That's what she is. Again, those of them slagging off Valentina, I refer you to my comment in response. Where's that? Not that one. Not that one. I've been busy on... If you can't imagine, I've been very busy on Twitter for the last 18 hours. But where is it? I was sticking up for Valentina. Oh, and here we are, decency. Everyone's talking about decency. What a lot. Letting foreign men finger kids isn't decent. Shut up. I don't care about words. Again, don't watch what they say. Watch what they do. Watch what they do. Yeah, here we are. Look, I said, to everyone slagging off Valentina, this is what I keep telling you lot, right? You don't have to be Churchillian. You don't have to be a legendary orator. I don't need to wear a nice suit. All I need to be is right. All I need to be is right. Right? You tell me, are there any lies? Are there any lies in that comment there? To everyone slagging off Valentina, they routinely practice the obvious. They do. And they're promoted in Parliament. Do I need to prove that? Let me look that one up. Sitting MP promotes cousin marriage in Parliament. I bet I can find it. See, people don't realise the Bootneck's got a long memory. And it's the same, like I said, as soon as I seen this bollocks about Trump, I just instantly went, oh yeah, isn't that what they just did to, isn't that what they just did to JD Vance? And sure enough, I remember it. They try and gaslight you and lie. But I remember it. Here it is. I remember reading it. It was on order. This is in Parliament. MP defending incest in the House of Commons. But they're all there going, Andy Burnham and Paul Mason. I know what the real problem is. The real problem is the President of the United States didn't individually name drop the UK when he was doing his third interview of the day in a gotcha interview with a foreign journalist. It's ridiculous. This is a problem. Sitting MPs advocating cousin bumming in the Houses of Parliament. This is a problem. The President of a foreign country talking a little bit. That's not a problem. Not really a problem. Foreign guy doing a bit of talking. Tell you what is a problem. A sitting MP defending relative rattling in the Houses of Parliament. That's a fucking problem. Unless you think it's fine to fold your fucking relatives up, at which point it isn't. Make your own mind up, lads. The hills have eyes. Yeah, they do. And if this lot are in charge, your great-great-granddaughter's going to have webbed feet, a fucking hair lip, and a cob on her back like Quasimodo. Shall we watch it? I haven't watched this one. Let's have a look.
I'd leave to bring in the bell. Iqbal Mohammed.
Come on, Iqbal.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Come on, Iqbal. Tell me about
As
relative
the right
rattling.
member for Basildon and Billericay states, there are documented health risks with first cousin marriage. And I agree this is an issue, this is an issue that needs greater awareness on. Virginity testing, forced marriages, and the freedom of women must be, forced marriage must be prevented, and the freedom of women must be protected at all times. However, the way...
However, see, you knew there was going to be a however, didn't you? Hello there. Hello there. For a man, I will tell you, you cannot be mean to women. However, acid in the face. Acid in the face. Saw the piss flaps with a broken bottle. FGM, that's good. Get rid of the clitoris. They don't need that. Whick. Deep six the fucking thing. They don't need that. Sorry, let's get... Come on, let's do that. However, acid in the face. However, melt the lips off. However, saw the piss flaps with a sharp stone. However, bum your cousin. Bum your cousin. Do it all day long.
To redress this is not to empower the state to ban adults from marrying each other, not least because I don't think it would be effective or enforceable. Instead, the matter needs to be...
It wouldn't be enforceable. It wouldn't be enforceable to ban cousin marriage. No, it'd be impossible, that fucking hell. It'd be well hard to ban cousin marriage. Oh, we need Sherlock Holmes, or we need Sherlock Holmes on this bad boy, don't we? It's well hard. I'll tell you how easy it is. You don't even need to check the records. You just walk down the street in Bradford and every ugly little munter with a fucking head like a meatball, webbed feet, club foot, hair lip, boss-eyed, teeth like a dead sheep. Every mutant kid, you stop them and go, do your mum and dad know each other? I mean, you don't... What do you mean it wouldn't be enforceable? It'd be easier than parking tickets. Be easier than parking tickets, wouldn't it? Everyone's got a birth certificate. It's unbelievable. I wouldn't be able to enforce that. Yeah, we need Poirot to solve this fucking mystery. I've just seen a kid with fingers growing out of her shoulder blades. What do you mean? It's a mystery. It's not a mystery. You lot rattle your relatives. It's not a mystery. It's unbelievable. Oh, sorry, interrupted him.
Be approached as a health awareness issue and a cultural issue where women are being forced against their will to undergo marriage. In doing so, it is important to recognise for many people this is a highly sensitive issue, and in discussing it, we should try to step into the shoes of those who perhaps are not from the same culture as ours, to better understand.
Ours. No. Mine. It's not yours. You're promoting rogering your relatives, son. Don't be saying ours. I never melted anyone's lips off because they knocked me back for a date. That's what you boys do. Doesn't happen in England, did it? Do you want me to tell you how many acid attacks there was in England in the 1950s? Zero. Because George didn't ask Hilda to the dance, and when she said, "Sorry, George, I'm busy," he didn't go, You do not talk to me like that. Yeah, and then melt her face off with sulfuric acid. That's not my culture. That's yours. No bed. Face melting is not a British tradition. In fact, I think that's what I called the video I made about it. Face melting as English as fish and chips. Anyway, we won't play the whole thing because it's unbelievable. So this is what I'm getting at. So anyone having a go at Valentina, I'm a lying. Do you remember one of the best bits of cinema ever is Dennis Hopper on True Romance? You know what I'm talking about. Can't touch it with a barge pole on YouTube anywhere. But when he says, "Oh, Sicilians were the best liars in the world. That's how I know you're lying." So then he says, "Go on, then I'll have a cigarette." And then he says, "Let me tell you the history of Sicily." And he explains to him that they used to all be blonde-haired and blue eyes, and now they're dark and dark skin because a few 100,000 Moors went up there and ragged all those hot white ladies and created the greasy fellas, right? And because it's factually and historically accurate, he rants about it and says, "I'm a lying." So what I'd tell anyone who has a go at Valentina and myself for writing that is, I'm a lying. I've just showed you the politician reading it on the floor of the Houses of Parliament. Routinely practice hills have eyes shit. Check. Yeah, check. Mark that off on the list. That definitely true. Promoted in Parliament, just showed you, definitely true. Many advocate diddling. Yes, they do. Because they worship Mighty Mo, the epileptic desert midget. They worship him more than any man alive. Check. Honour killings, common. Commonplace, check. FGM, tens of thousands of English-born women now getting dragged off to see an old uncle over in Bangladesh during the summer holidays and coming back with a little bit of a limp and a very, very, very sore fanny. Yeah? Come back off your summer holidays with a fanny like a fucking dry Weetabix because Uncle Mustafa has been at your flaps with a fucking chainsaw. So don't tell me I'm telling any lies. And what was the last one? Acid attacks. Well, yeah, you remember. I don't need to find that story. That was a big enough deal that you all remember it. But yeah, what was it? Acid attacker fell in the Thames. I'll just type in acid attacker Thames. Yeah, Abdul Shakur Azidi. There you go. Already known. Oh, that was funny, wasn't it? That was funny. Do you remember he was already known? Oh yeah, I forgot about that. Abdul Shakur, who melted a load of girls' faces off in Clapham, was already known to the authorities due to multiple sex offences. But obviously, he had a bit of a tan, and obviously the Labour government loved the Puma trackies, so obviously he was free to be about his business, and he was free to carry on attacking people, and he was free to melt a little girl's face off. Because Keir Starmer wants you to be upset about Trumpy Bear talking, but not about Abdul Azidi melting women's faces off. So, again, if you want to get upset about talking, I suggest you get upset about face melting, because that's what's actually a problem in the UK. It's not things that a foreign president's saying to foreign journalists. Thanks. And then, what else do I want to talk about? Oh, yeah, this one. So this is what we could be doing. This is how much we could be winning, right? United States murder rate has dropped to the lowest level since 1900, and they reckon it's the biggest single-year drop since records began. Think of that. If Trumpy Bear was running the UK, you could be having this. You could be having this. Murder rate dropped to the lowest level since 1900. Because it turns out, we're getting to that, joining the dots, Marshall. Yeah, turns out, when you round up 1 million foreign criminals and you deport them, I know this is complicated, this one. This is beyond the average Labour voter. Turns out when you round up 1 million foreign criminals and you deport them, turns out the murder rate goes down. Controversial, I know. Yeah, well, so did I. And this is what I'm saying. They want you to be outraged about words. Fake, twisted words. Because they don't want you to be outraged about this. Almost everything the British government has done to you in the last 30 years has been a monumental act of self-harm. Deporting people is easy. Enforcing the borders is easy. Pulling out the European Court of Human Rights and telling them to fuck off is easy. Keeping Chagos is easy. You just do it. It's corruption. It's corruption. The Labour voters are importing your replacements because they vote for the Labour Party. They bring them over, they turn a blind eye to kiddie fiddling, and they bribe them and say, we'll let you get on with it, lads, as long as you vote for us. And then you get Shabzy Mahmood in Parliament voting for more Mahmoods to move over. Trump, for all of his flaws, he's deported over 1 million illegal immigrants. He's locked up thousands of foreign criminals. And as a result, the murder rate's dropped. Biggest drop on record. This is what you could have. We've got natural gas and oil in the North Sea and in the northeast of England. We've got shale gas in the Borough and in the northeast and in Hartlepool, Sunderland and Newcastle. And everyone in the northeast skint because it's a choice. They're doing it on purpose. They don't want you to be happy. They don't want your children to be safe. It's all a choice. We've got a military. We've got a navy. We could round up 5 million illegal immigrants in a week. It wouldn't even be difficult. Like I said, the bloke's saying it's difficult. It's difficult to find out who's getting bummed by the cousin. It's not difficult. I could do it on my own. Give me one afternoon in Bradalabad with 50 coppers and I'll root them out. I'll find you 1,000 on the first day. So this is an act of self-harm, what they've done. Oh yeah, inflation down too, yeah, nice one. My stock's the highest it's ever been. I've got stock in AMD. All my numbers are up. My life's going brilliant. Crime's down, stock market's up. Deporting illegals, locking criminals up. The coppers are still scary in America. The coppers are still scary in America. In fact, I'm going to have to make a video about that. I'm going to have to show you. When my mate Moz and his wife and son came over for that Oasis gig last year, the kid was excited to see all these coppers outside the gig. Obviously, they're there for terrorism. There was 4 of them all stood together and they all had Gucci, like M4 platform weapons. And every one of them was big and scary looking and buff. Like, they looked hard. They looked like hard blokes. So he ran over and the man went, oh, he wants a picture with him. So she goes over and says, can you get a picture with you? And the kid's there buzzing like that with all these scary looking coppers all happily posing with him with a big smile on the face for the kid with all the shooters. We could have that. We could have scary coppers who actually look like they're enforcing the law. And what have you got in England? Little fat roller lesbians, wheelchair-bound same-sex attracteds in tit helmets who can't even climb a flight of stairs without getting clammy. It's unbelievable. The UK's decline is by choice. Honestly, it is. So this is what we've got in the US. Results. Fox News covers it. Shall we watch a bit of that? If I can. I don't know if I have to pay for this shit. Why won't they just let me watch things or throwing adverts at me? Sound. There we are.
Plagued by
Then. Oh, don't then.
violence
We'll have to hold it down.
consider getting
No, they don't like it.
on board. If you look here at Washington, D.C., at a 2-week period this year compared to last year, property crime is down 20%. But the biggest thing are all of the violent crimes, often including robbery, which is down 60%. Homicides are down 71% from last year over this exact same period of time. Assaults with a dangerous weapon, down 10%. Yet, if you listen to Democrats, they don't care about those statistics.
Look at that. That's amazing, isn't it? Imagine Sadiq Khan would love to see a 20% drop in property crime and a 60%. Imagine a 60% drop in robbery. In London, it'd be amazing. So this is what I'm telling you, it's a choice. We've got the manpower. We've got hundreds of thousands of coppers and soldiers. This is a choice. The government is letting your kids get bummed. They're letting you get robbed. It's unbelievable. Sean Bush laughing again, Royal. Here's a Uri Geller from a non-communist Scouse. Yeah, as I told you, I've only got disdain and hatred for 60% of Scousers. The other 40% good lads. So cheers, Sean. Same with the jocks. I'm not a collectivist. The left is a collectivist. Radicals. That's why they think, Trump has a go at NATO and he means every single soldier in the entire of NATO as an organisation. I'm an individualist. I don't do the collectivist thing. So I've got a lot of time for Scousers. The ones that aren't communists. Just like the jocks. Thanks for the Bootneck membership, Joe. Cheers for that. And Northern English bastards, no Mexicans on the roof. No, I had to skip yesterday's filming due to the. But you know what? Hard-working lads, them. Unlike this is yet another plus point for the Yanks in it. I've told you a lot of this before. The US is in such a better spot because all our immigrants come from Mexico. They're like nice people. They like football. They like tits. They like beer. They don't demand. First of all, they don't demand the women don't go out and they're not allowed to show their ankles. Second of all, they don't shag their own relatives and promote incest. Third of all, they don't throw acid in little girls' faces or hack at little girls' piss flaps with a sharp stone. I can go all day. Fifth of all, they're not all on the dole. They come over here, they do work. They just squared our roof away in about 4 hours, 10 of them. How many, have you ever seen a Puma trackie do any work? Especially the women. At least occasionally the blokes. The blokes in England will do work where they can still be scamming it, can't they? So they'll work in a taxi where they can pocket all the money and not pay any taxes. Or they'll work in a corner shop where they can pocket all the money and not pay any taxes. And then they go take a money belt to Pakistan and drop it all off in cash, don't they? As long as they're scamming the system and not paying a penny in, they will do some work. But it's not like that over here. They actually do some graft. So as I've told you, in every way, the UK is in a worse spot than we are. It's not perfect over here, but it's 10 times worse over there. So yeah, them crime statistics should be a damning indictment for anyone who's sitting there thinking, we've got our problems, but it isn't hard to fix. Hard to fix. It's easy to fix. It's a choice. Weak on crime, promoting illegal immigration. Promoting it. Stop the benefits that stop coming. You wouldn't even have to do anything. If you just said, you know what? Cancelling it all. Universal credit, gone. Housing assistance, gone. No council houses for illegal immigrants. They'd stop coming then. You wouldn't even need to round them up. You'd get a couple of million self-deport. But they won't even do that. Because this is what I'm telling you. It's on purpose. It's a choice. It's part of the plan. Breed you out import your voters. Think if Trump's dropped 50,000 blokes into Greenland and just said, they're illegal immigrants, they've got nowhere to go, we'll just leave them all there. Would the European Union go, well, we'll just let them stay then? Just give them all them 50,000 Americans council houses and just let them stay. And then a year later, they could go, we're just going to have a referendum. We're going to have a referendum on whether or not we should join America. And obviously all 50,000 Americans that we just dropped in a year earlier, they can all vote in it because we wouldn't want to be mean. Well, that's what we've done in England. Puma trackies and Somalians are voting in England now. And who are they voting for? Fellow cousin bummers. Whoa, that's weird. And then you wonder why the House of Parliament openly promote incest and don't do anything about crime. Weird, that, innit? Weird. Weird. God's best friend, I'm in a woke kibbutz, only the cows are sensible. Yeah, well, I mean, as you're well aware, loads of the 4B2s are screaming liberals, aren't they? I think that's a driver of a lot of the distaste for them. That's their issue, isn't it? Because they're getting it from both sides. You've got loads of woke liberal 4B2s, and then you've got the mega conservative ones that clearly get war waged on them by the snack bar boys. So there's a lot of hatred coming your way. It's the nature of the beast, unfortunately. Anyway, what's that, an hour and 2 minutes? Yeah, we'll call it there then. You know me. When I shout a lot, I can't do 3-hour streams when I was bellowing rage at the top of my lungs all the time. I will stream tomorrow, although it's Saturday, right? I normally do a stream on Saturday anyway. Hopefully we can draw a line under this because it's getting cringe. As I said, if even Harriet Harman's gobbing off about it, like she's the goodie and Trump's the baddie, after all he's done to sort the shit out over here, the world's gone mad. So I don't know what's going on. I hope this story's gassed out by tomorrow, because it's cringe. It's cringe watching maggots like Mike Tapp try and give it the Billy Big spuds over someone like Trump. This man is a worm. Served on the operation. He didn't do shit. Mike Tapp was a slippery little intelligence corps knobhead, wasn't he? So he was probably doing slippery. He was guiding in the Taliban at the Bakia Bazi parties. That's what Mike Tapp was doing. Mike Tapp was lubing them up before they drilled the 8-year-olds at Bakia Bazi parties in Afghanistan. That's not serving. Like all British politicians, he serves himself. Trump, multi-billionaire, and he goes to take the slings and arrows, deporting criminals, deporting illegals, building a wall. That's service, not a maggot like Mike Tapp. Anyway, thanks for watching, Real Caro. Cheers to the super sticker. Everybody else, thanks for all the super chats and all that bollocks. I will be back tomorrow. Please keep giving them both barrels on social media. I'm only one bootneck. I can't do it all myself. And Rags, thanks for the tinnies. You save your money for yourself, son. I've seen the clip of your ankles. You probably need a few cans of your own tonight. Thanks, lads. I'll see you all tomorrow. All right. Toodle pip. Cheers.